So I sat around last night and I'm like, what am I going to say today? And it was just amazing, all the great things that have happened in Newburgh Randy's in 2014, and I was just amazed. In January, our company is going to be 40 years old, and I just can't thank Sid and Jerry enough for making this all happen from the beginning. The jobs you've created, the things, properties you bought, and the impact you've had on this city, and us, all of us personally, I'll never forget, and all of us appreciate it.
Yay.
Dave, that was after we stopped drinking.
Did Jerry disappear? All right, we love you, Jerry, wherever you are.
That's all a minute ago.
He took a swim.
You know, 40 years after our inception, today, our company owns 2.5 million square feet of space. We own 107 properties now. We have 54 freestanding buildings, 47 industrial parks, and we have 6 office buildings. That is amazing. And we have over 800 tenants today. Our staff at Allen Road, I think we have over 20 people employed inside the company, and we have over 100 people working on the properties, vendors, maintenance people, IT people, roofers, pavers, you name it, landscapers. So it's just amazing how...
Don't forget the vandals.
There we go. Actually, that's a pretty good story. One of our buildings burned down last year, Old National Denny's, and they actually went up on top of our roof and tried to vandalize our air conditioning.
Well, they used a torch.
And when they did that, I knew they were going to do that because it was a new air conditioning unit. They went up there with a torch while it was running and blew up the air conditioning unit, which fell inside the building and burned the whole building down.
The air conditioning guys attacking over there.
So our company is the only company, I think, in the world that got robbed, and the robbers left $1 million behind. That's a fact. Our insurance company settled and gave us money for the building, and we never rebuilt it. So the robbers left us some cash.
What's nice, it was more cash than we paid for the property.
It was double the cash that we paid for the property.
And we're
we're selling the land again soon. You know, another thing when I was looking last night that really impressed me is our freestanding buildings, which is 54 of them, were 100% leased. And every single tenant is current. That was impressive. Our shopping centers are 95% leased, and our multi-tenant warehouse portfolio is 97% leased. Simply impressive. So the average occupancy rate across the board is 96.2%. These are facts. I looked at this last night and I couldn't believe it. And another thing that was impressing me is how our company went through this recession, because we sat there, we watched all of our competitors, most of them struggle. A lot of them, they lost properties to the bank, and our company just kept rolling through this. Honestly, unfazed. We had our problems, we had collection problems, but overall we kept our occupancy up and we kept sending money to our partners. And really, you have to give a big hand to all the people in this room for the way this company's set up. That's from the investors, from the vendors, from all the accounting staff, from our great sales force, from our IT people who keep our computers running. It just goes on and on. And the other thing that I love, we bought over $12 million in real estate in 2014 alone. We bought 7 freestanding buildings, 2 large industrial parks, and this year was our biggest year ever in acquisitions. And then when I looked at all the properties that we bought in this terrible recession, we bought over 30 properties during the recession in a 5-year period. So while everybody else was going out of business and struggling, our company was growing. And I credit everybody in this room for the help to make this happen, because without all the people in this room, it wouldn't have happened.
And one of the things that David did was he was buying properties at a lower price. Do I need it?
I don't think it's gonna read.
He just wants everybody to hear this part.
Oh, okay.
David was buying these properties at a lower price per square foot than when we originated the company in 1975. He was paying a lower price because they were almost all foreclosures by banks. And banks hate real estate because it requires work. Like, their advice is always, well, there's an old saying, you want to know how to make $1 million? Just give $10 million to a trust department. They go out and put it all in the bonds because then it requires no work. But they don't know how to make money, they don't understand business. But David was able to make these spectacular buys, one after the other, at such unbelievable prices. A blind man would be able to make money. And David's not blind. We now control pretty much the Fulton Industrial Building. And by the way, they just approved the building of a 6th runway. The last runway they built brought us in a tremendous amount of business. And we're 10 minutes from the airport. So that part of the town and the cooperation we've been getting from the city. It's like David had a sixth sense that all this was going to happen. And he went in there with the courage of a lion and made it all happen, got it bought and closed and filled. So my head and my hat is off to you.
Bravo.
There's someone I want to really take my hat off to. My wife, Dragana, who moved here from Serbia. We got married 6 years ago, and I just want to tell you how much I appreciate you, and all the things that you do for me, and your support and your love. Say to my mother, who's here today, how much I appreciate everything that you've done for me and all the support over the years. And I want to say how much I appreciate, everything Grandma did while she was alive. My grandmother and my mother they're one of my biggest partners combined. The estate of Francis Lane now and my mother. And it's really funny when I started wanting to syndicate properties, I drove my mom and grandma to the first, God, I'm not gonna break up. I drove them to the first property I bought, and I showed it to them, and I said, this is what I want to do, and what do you think, Grandma? I'd like for you to be an investor. And my grandmother said, David, I hate the building, but I love you. So I'm going to take that property, and I'm going to continue to invest in anything that you do. And she did. And after that, my mom took over the estate. Mom bought the land. I think you own 30 properties now. I'm so proud of 35. See, I didn't have my computer. All right, I'm not breaking up again. So, thank you both. That was hard. I also want to say some other things, some fantastic things that happened to us in 2014. The company, we added Pat McClough as our property maintenance supervisor. I'd like to recognize him. He started 6 months ago. Thank you, Pat. And we added 4 new sales guys to our sales team. John Woodhams, Stephen Firth, Simone Bakarich, and Adam Thomas. And I would like to make us recognize Adam, who graduated Kennesaw State. He was our first intern ever, and he graduated yesterday. And, I just want to say to you, Adam, I think you set a world record. You did 70 new leases in 2 years from cold call.
Wow.
I hate to admit it, but that's more than me. Congratulations. I just want to say to Simone, if he's here,
Right there.
Simone,
Right here.
Straight.
He can see you with the light.
Simone, you were instrumental in the property that I bought at Greer. It was a deal that I gave it back, and I said, it's over, I don't even want to talk to him. And you and Mark were relentless, and you kept coming, and you got me a huge discount at the last minute, and we ended up buying the property. And it was a 90,000 foot property that we would have never bought, so it was a big impact to the company, and I thank you. Some other things that we need to recognize is, you know, the company is on the move, and we're really technology savvy, and we pay the right people, our IT people. I'd like to recognize David Gracie and George Notel, who make all of our technology first class, and allow us to keep growing the way we want to grow. You know, because of all this, we're setting up a new program where the tenants can go online, they can pay their tenant accounts with credit cards, home equity, American Express, whatever they want to pay with. They can do ACHs from their bank, they can go online and see their account balances without calling our office. We also have a new program that Pat's working on that's going to start first of next year. It allows the tenants to go online and request their maintenance. And not only request their maintenance, but we have apps on the iPhone that allow the maintenance call to go directly to the vendor. And then the vendor, if we want to see 3 vendors, one of them responds. And the tenant gets notified what's happening with the work order all the way through. The vendor shows up at the property, does the work, he goes on his app, says, I did this work, not coming back, everything's complete. The tenant knows on the spot. So that's a big program that we started. Another thing, Newburgh Andy's expanded their office space this year. I'm sorry, Sid, expenses are going to go up a little bit.
I'd like to mention,
want to mention one thing. When we founded the company, we had an opportunity in the early 80s to buy the office building we're in. We loved it. All that covered parking, you know, it's a rainy day, it's a hot day, no problem. And here I am, I just reached 77 years of age, and my family and Jerry's and the Andes family own and control our office building, as we have all our previous buildings. And what I had to look forward to and what they accomplished this year is they threw me out of my office. And they have some kind of a glorified closet that they're going to make available to me. But I'm proud of them because it was the right thing to do. I hadn't been in the office for months. Usually David and I are on the phone a couple times a week, and we communicate by email and telephone. But it's good to know that when you live long enough, they'll throw you out. Even if you're president. And I love it because I like to sleep late anyway. Thanks, Dave.
So just a couple more things about the company this year. And this was a big move, and I don't know, is Sandy Cohn here? He had to leave, unfortunately. Sandy Cohn is our attorney, who obviously closes all of our new properties. But what we did was, when we knocked down the walls of the space next door, we talked to Sandy, and we're actually going to be moving him in January 1st to our office. We're going to have our first in-house attorney in the company history. So he will be representing each and every property, any problems, any issues with the investors, any change of ownerships, you know, all the things that need legal, we're now going to have it in-house. So that's a big deal, and I wish Sam, I'm gonna get mad at him for leaving, but I wish he was still here. But I hope everybody got a chance to say hello to Sam. But January 1st, he'll be in our offices. I just want to recognize also, I already recognized my grandmother who passed away, but I do want to recognize our first attorney, Aaron Olimbic, who passed away last year. Aaron was our attorney for 30 years, and Sid and Aaron, Aaron helped build the business, and was side by side with Sid on every investment. So I just want to recognize Aaron Olimbic, and may he rest in peace.
But our partners all live a long life, at least into their 80s.
And may they continue to do so.
Well, my computer just died.
Shocker.
Just turn this on.
Anyway, I'm going
There we go. So I just want to recognize and introduce our company quickly. Our accounting department is 4 people. We've got Alex Lang, Letitia Ducksworth, Maria Garcia, Sandy Moncrief, and Toya Harrison. And I just want to tell you what a great job all of you have done this year, and we appreciate it. I look over the P&Ls each month, every single number, and the number of entries and the number of things that you have to do to make those P&Ls work for me is really fascinating, and you guys have done the job all year long, and I do appreciate that. This is our accounting staff. Thank you. They're right next to me, and they didn't. I would like to say to our receptionist, Carla, thank you. Carla just started working with us, 6 months ago? A year ago. Carla was working part-time for us, and then we decided we needed a new receptionist, and we promoted Maria Garcia back to the accounting department. So, thank you, Carla. Newburger Andy's has 2 divisions that we used to outsource. We have now a collections division that's in-house, and we have an evictions division in-house. So I'd like to recognize Eileen Martinez and Steve Farrar. Eileen does all of our in-house collections. When somebody doesn't pay, she does the defaults, following up the phone calls, and then when she has to throw somebody out, she gives it to Steve. Steve goes to court, he disposes them, and he's the hatchet. Whenever somebody we need somebody out of a building, Steve's our man to get them out.
We ought to just put revolving doors in some of it.
Back in the old days, Jerry just told me to pull the power on. He said just take the power box out.
Gosh.
We do everything legally there.
That's right.
I'd like the officers of the company, I'd like to recognize Amy Newburger, my partner. Sid Newburger is wherever Jerry is. Jerry left.
Yeah, he snuck out.
It's been a hot date.
You know, Jerry.
I would like to, let's see, our sales force, and I just want to tell the sales force, this was our best year ever by far. And you guys really made this year special. Our sales force is Adam Thomas, Bob Rickey, Charlie Pate, Joe Collada, John Woodhams, Mark Stenzel, Simone Bakarich, Steve Farrar, and our new intern, Stephen Firth. Great job, guys. I'd like to recognize some of the investors that are here today. A lot of them couldn't make it, but we did invite a few. I'd like to recognize Steve Kennedy. Steve is one of our newer partners. He was a big investor in Greer, and when I needed to make a deal at Commerce, Steve was the first one who stepped up to the plate and said, that's a good deal.
All right.
And that one's worked out for us. We bought 190,000 square feet at Commerce, Steve and I, and then the Greer Circle, Steve was a big investor in. Thank you, Steve. I'd like to recognize Wes and Ida Weiner. Wes and Ida have over 58 years of military experience, and they're both retired now, and they're investors of ours. And I think you guys have like 20 plus properties now, so congratulations. Thank you. Is Roy Burke here? Roy, thank you for everything. Roy and I met when we did a 1031 exchange, and we let him start investing in a few of the properties, and I think you've got 7 or 8 now. Roy's a newer investor, but I've really enjoyed working with you, and hopefully we'll get you many more. Thank you. Greg Schwartzberg, where are you?
Right here.
Greg Schwartzberg is my good friend, has been for a while. I actually handled his building 20 years ago at the corner of Roswell Road and Sandy Springs. Greg bought the building, I found the tenant. 20 years goes by and I ended up buying the building, and then we sold Greg one of our buildings. So Greg wants to tell us how good the building is that he bought. Tell them.
Cheshire Bridge. I know why you sold it to me, because it needed a lot of work, but
Well, I have something to say. When we bought the property from you in Roswell Road, Dragona invites me, she says, let's go over to Greg's new house. I get over there, I'm like, where did all this money come from? Anyway, I'm teasing. Thank you, Greg. And it's been a pleasure, even though we were on opposite sides of the deals, it's been a pleasure working with you. Thank you. I think that's it. I know Jim and Ann Elser are here. I'd like to recognize both of them. Jim has been our contractor for how long? 30, 40? 38 years. Has done all of our maintenance, all of our roofs, our paving. And Jim and Ann, I think the world of you, and we appreciate everything you've done for us over the years. You know, I know times got real tough during the recession, but they did for all of us. But it seems like this recession's over, and hopefully we're back to normal. Let's see, did I invite? Oh, I didn't say anything. My assistant Samantha. Well, I'm going to blame Eileen on this one. Eileen, I'm going for my list here.
Okay, Jerry.
Samantha's not.
I agree.
Samantha, thank you for everything you do for me personally, for the company. You've been with us for so long, and thank you for everything. I sincerely appreciate it.
Thank you for everything. You're
Thank you. Who did I leave out? Mark Caniff got us the room. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Mark.
There's Alex Lang. And this is the best coat of
That's
the
the
day.
man.
This is the male best coat. Ida wins the females. We got the most festive outfits. Anyway, I'll stop talking. Thank you for everything, and happy holidays.
Yay.